Would you give an example, if you will, about any disciplinary case involving NBA Lagos and maybe any lawyer in that chapter?
Well, there's not, well, for now, I cannot tell you that offhand of any lawyer. I mean, but there are other cases of lawyers all over the country in some other branches or jurisdictions that ought to be investigated. And people are waiting. We all know exactly what's been happening about the issue of especially the political case in Oshu's case. These are issues, and the issue of call logs from MTN and all whatnot. These are issues.
But does that mean that NBA Lagos...
But are public.
Okay, you said you can't give us anyone offhand. Does that suggest that NBA Lagos perfect? Almost perfect.
No. We're not. I'm not saying it is. As the chairman of NBA Lagos, I know exactly how many petitions I received.
Oh.
But
okay.
I always tell the people about this. You find out that when you look at some of these petitions, some don't even have the ground at all. Some they just want to demean that legal practitioner. Yeah. But I'm not saying that all is well. All is not well. Just like in every stratum of our society in Nigeria.
All right, but when you say that the NBA can do better or the lawyers can do better if they are allowed to, what did you mean by that?
You see, the point is this. When I said that, you see, given the situation around, when people ventilate their ideas, when lawyers are given the latitude to discipline themselves, things will be better. For instance, I said to myself that when people are educated better, because you see, education in the legal profession does not stop at just being called to the bar. It goes beyond that. It's because we learn every day. So by the time you call people together and start telling them that, look, you are not meant to file this action. There is a decided case on this particular action that will not be will not be in your actual advantage if you file this action. When people start to realize that, look, I'm not here just to make money, but just to make sure that the law is developed and the legal profession is respected, then people will not file frivolous actions. That is what I'm talking about. We find a lot of frivolous actions in this country. Especially, there was one that was filed recently on the issue of this $50 million, and later withdrawn in how many days? What happened? These are issues that the NBA should look into. What happened? Why was it withdrawn? Would the case have been filed in the first place? Should it be filed in the first place?
All right.
No, these are issues that I know that the lawyers should be able to meet and discuss among themselves. Enough is enough. We cannot be a clog in the wheel of progress, especially as regards justice.
All right, then. Thank you, Mr. Taiwo, for speaking with us here on Sunrise
Daily.
Thank
you so much. Thank you.
All right, then, Mr. Oloyede, in that particular case where he mentioned you file the case, you withdraw the case, questions raised about it, is there anything wrong if a lawyer files a case and withdraws it?
There's a lot wrong. You've wasted the time of the court. You've dragged the other person to court unnecessarily. I mean, I agree with Mr. Taiwo to the extent that it should be done. But the thing is, it's never done. This is not the first time such is happening. A man just goes to court. There's something we call local standard. You know you are a busybody in this. You are an interloper. You have no interest. You have no basis for bringing the action. And then you just file it to embarrass the other party. And then everybody keep corruption. Mr. Dyer was talking about the perks of office of judges. Corruption is not about money alone, about giving money. You can be unduly influenced by even being put in that particular position as a judge. Somebody might put you there for a purpose. A politician might put you there knowing that one day there will be returns. So corruption is not about, inducing, because Suleiman was trying to say, look, was it you that, well, even by increasing the pegs and all that, that might even induce them to lean in favor of the person who is paying. But it's not even about that alone. By putting a particular person in a position, is waiting for the day when he's going to make returns. So you check it from the point of appointment. How are they appointed?
Because we actually thought, sorry, Marco, we thought that we actually thought they'd double check and do their research properly. Because, for instance, we have to talk about a particular case here that was withdrawn. We're talking about the group saying Andy Uba, then the other man who said he was the real owner of the money. And before you knew it, 3 sons were already on that particular case. And again, he also said Mr. Andy Uba was ready to swear an affidavit to say all of these claims were true. And before we knew what was happening, everyone backtracked, and Mr. Andy Uba even denied him that there was nothing like that. And the 3 sons, everyone disappeared. Let
me tell you, and I believe this is a fair comment. I was in court one day, and that was the beginning of my sadness with regards to the profession, the state of affairs now. Well, we were in court. Usually when the sons are there in the inner bar, you probably will not have your day in court because the court will attend to them and all that. And there was this particular case, and they were mentioning huge sums. It has to do with the sports sponsorship. It's a big case. I don't want to mention it. And there were almost 9 or 10 senior advocates representing different parties. And they argued for like 2 hours about when to come back. I mean, you are arguing about when next should we come and argue properly. And you have to argue for 2 hours. And that's our time. And then we all went into the foyer. And about 3 or 4 of these senior advocates, very senior advocates, came out. And they shook hands. How are you? I didn't expect you would come. Why are you here for this small case? You don't want to be left out of this kind of big case. Because, I mean, this is a big money case. We are just here to come and confuse them so that the more confused they are, the better for all. That was the joke. And the other lawyer, and I said, can you imagine? And when someone like me or a young lawyer does something that is that is serious breach of professional ethics. They knew the case will not go on. And this was at the Court of Appeal. I have to say this. And I felt so sad that those that we should look up to, they are out there telling us. And at the end of it all, the court said by 12 we are rising. They are taking almost 3 hours of the day, and all the other cases didn't go on. That is a serious breach. Who will punish them?
Something struck me when he was speaking. He talked about Lagos State, and how things were improving. Do you get that feeling as well? I mean, you practice here in Lagos, don't you?
Lagos, I agree with Mr. Taiwo to the extent that in terms of parks, in terms of convenience, maybe Lagos is better than most of the other states. But in terms of delivery, justice delivery, Lagos is no better. And I'll tell you a case in point. For instance, I have a divorce case that's been pending for 6 years. Simple divorce case. It was initially undefended. Even the defense is not properly in now. For 6 years, the case is not over. We are not even near halfway.
Divorce case?
Yes. And somebody filed a case in Ogun State, in Abeokuta here, in March. Or was it April? May. And the judgment has been delivered. Now, it depends on where you are and from what perspective. Mr. Taiwo is probably looking at it from the perspective of packs of office for the judges.
Now, which he believes can actually reduce corruption.
Should reduce corruption. I don't agree.
That it may not. Corruption.
It may not. Now, so the man in Ogun, the person who went to file a case in Ogun State, the judge is earning nothing near. Even the joke is that when they go for judges conference, the other judges are always envious that look at these Lagos people, they are so rich. What makes them different from us? That's why I was happy with the question. But the man in Ogun State, this person came from the US to do the case in Nigeria and finished in less than 2-3 months. And she went away with the impression that, wow, even in America, we are not that fast. And she went away and told me, wow, Nigeria has changed. She went away with a very good impression of the judiciary. She didn't pay a kobo. She didn't have to talk to anybody. She came in, she traveled in on a Friday, did her case on Monday, and traveled out. And the decree NISA is with her. So, to the extent, in terms of delivery, what has happened is what is called a revolution in the judiciary in Lagos State has virtually become a clog. Because the new rules that was meant to, hasten the process, lawyers have mastered it.
Oh dear.
And we are now using it in the exact opposite direction.
Wow. All right, that's all we have to draw the curtains here today. Thank you for coming on, Mr. John Oloyede, focusing on the judiciary. But if one has got to spend more than 6 years for a divorce case,
they better remain
that's
married.
A very young case.
They better remain married.
But yes,
by all means.
In fact, that's
what look before they leave.
That you should. Why are you still fighting? But like I told the judge, I said, look, we are just undertakers, because you see, the leading of the judge, she's more of a Christian, and to her, why do you want to break up? And the marriage can't work. And I told the judge, look, my lady, this is a situation where the judge and the lawyer, we are just undertakers. We want to bury a dead body, but we want to dress it up before burial so that it looks so beautiful as it goes on the journey to heaven or hell. That's what we're doing.